I'm an attorney. When I was practicing in Florida, I went ahead and got my license in Georgia because I was in Tallahassee and it's very close to the Georgia line. So my law firm wanted somebody who was licensed in Georgia. So I was already licensed in Alabama too. So I went ahead and got licensed in Georgia several years ago, not knowing that one day I was going to end up here, but it was a blessing that I was already licensed. So when I came here, I could go ahead and easily work. I didn't have to start over again and try to take the bar at that time. I had already done it.
How did you start this project?
This project started because I have a young son, and just last month he turned 4. But once I realized that I was staying and living in Atlanta, Atlanta's such a large area, and there's so many Korean people who live here that I assumed there was a Korean school. I assumed that not just a Saturday school, but a real school, maybe private or something, where they taught Korean language. And there wasn't. There's not already a school. And so I was really surprised, but I knew that I wanted my son to be bilingual. If he could be trilingual, that would be great too, but I wanted him to know more than one language really well. And I did enough research that I knew the best way to do that is to start really young. If you start older, it's much harder, but when you're young, language is so easy. You know, you don't separate, this is my first language, this is my second language. It's just language, right? So for a while I thought, well, I guess I have to look at my choices. My choices were Spanish or French or Chinese or German in this area. And so I was looking at all the different schools, and at some point I thought, why don't they have Korean? Why not? There's more Korean people here than French people, than German people, than Chinese people. So they should have an opportunity. They should have a program. And that's when I really started to do research and find out, what can we do? Can we do something? So for a while we looked into trying to start a private school. But I felt like a private school would be too expensive for a lot of people. You know, some people could afford it, and that's fine. But there's a lot of people here with a lot of small kids, and I felt like it should be more open. So that's when I started to look into a charter school, because it would be a special school. And what we wanted to have was immersion, so that at least half of the day would be taught in Korean, and then the other half would be taught in English. So they could learn both languages every day, all the time. And that's really what you need so that the children become true bilingual speakers. If you have a program where they just have a class, just one class, maybe 1 hour per day, it's really not enough. It's not enough. So studies show that immersion is the best way if you want people to really know more than one language. So our first couple of years, the number of students is kind of small because we're working within a building that we already know that we want to start. And we want to make the program really good from the beginning. So we feel like if we have a smaller number of children to begin with, we can make sure that the program is very strong. And then after 1-2 years, when we have time to either buy our own building or find a bigger building, then we can expand the school. So to begin with, we are thinking 100 kindergarten students, 50 first graders, and 50 second graders. It's only going to start with those 3 grades, and then we work to get to 5th grade, and we'll add on 1 grade per year that way. The state really likes to do it that way, where you just add on 1 grade per year, so that you grow in a way that is easy and it's more controlled. And if you're not going to start with all the grades to begin with, that's the best way to do it. And we really hope that we have a mix of students, not just Korean students, but anybody who wants to learn Korean, because Korean now is the fastest growing language in popularity in America than any other language. And on the college level, over a short period of time, it's about doubled in the number of students who want to learn Korean, while all the other languages have decreased. Korean has extremely increased. So there's a lot of interest in Korean right now amongst all American folks, not just Korean Americans. And I think there's a lot of reasons why. I think people now are more familiar with Korean culture. They really like it and are interested in it. And then also for young people, it's because of K-pop and K-drama. They really want to understand the words. And so they're so interested in it now. And they would like for, to be able to better enjoy it, The first obstacle is to get approval from the county of Gwinnett County. We knew that we wanted to locate in Gwinnett County because the core of the Korean community is still Gwinnett. I know some people are moving a little out, but it's still really Gwinnett. There's more Korean people that live here than any other place. And we had a choice of choosing to be in a local school district or just to say, no, we don't want to be in a local school district. We're just going to be with the state. And then we can have anybody from around the state come. But if you go with a local school district, you have more help with the district. And you get a little bit more money too, because you're getting money from the local district, in this case Gwinnett, as well as the state. If you just associate with the state, then you don't get any kind of local help with money. And we would rather have that extra budget so that the school would be more comfortable financially. I didn't want for the school to struggle financially. Of course, the school has to do fundraising and ask for donations like all schools do. But we wanted for our budget to feel very comfortable even if we didn't get any donations, even if we didn't get any extra money, we could still survive and be okay. And it's better if you do that with your local school board, so it makes it more comfortable. We're submitting to the county this month in April. And so then they have about 3 months that they can review everything, ask you questions. If they want to change a few things, they can do that. So about 90 days. If they want to extend it, if there needs to be an extension, you can come into an agreement for an extension. But if they approve the school, then they move that application to the state. And then the state reviews everything and they decide if they approve too. So it's a two-step process. One for the county, one for the state. If the county says no, we don't approve, then you can still go to the state and just have state approval, but you don't get the county, you don't get the local money per pupil, per student. In Gwinnett County, currently, they're located in Gwinnett County, there are 3 charter schools. One is New Life. And they have a regular curriculum, but they do teach Chinese, one class, not immersion, just one class. Most of their student body is not Asian, though. Most of their student body is African American, white, and Hispanic. And then there's another charter school by the county, and the name for that is North Metro Performing Arts Charter School. So it's newer. The other one, the New Life, has been around for about 10 years. And then the North Metro just started, I think, 2 years ago. Their focus is more on children who may be at risk if they're perhaps lower socioeconomics, or they don't have a great deal of academic support, to go ahead and get them into a school where they'll really enjoy school. So, and their focus is on performance, acting, singing, dancing, that type of thing, as well as regular school. The majority of their school student body is African American. And then they're in Norcross. And then there's another school, I don't know too much about them because they're not part of Gwinnett Public Schools. They're only authorized by the state. And it's called IV Prep. But they're a charter school, but it's just through the state. So we've really concentrated on the schools that are authorized by the county too, because we want to be a part of Gwinnett County. We like Gwinnett County, and it's always been the core area for the Korean community, so we think it's a good match. Anybody that is interested in what we're trying to do, anybody that feels like this is a good endeavor, that might be able to support us, even if they just say, I support you, I think it's a good idea. That helps us, because we want to show Gwinnett County that we have a lot of support. That's what they want to see. One of the most things that they're interested in is to know that the people in Gwinnett County, whether they're whatever race they are, Korean, white, African American, Hispanic, that as a collective group, they think this is a good idea, that this is something that can be supported. And of course, the parents who are putting this together, they think it's a great idea, but we need to show that the whole community would support this. We met with the Gwinnett County Public School, a lot of their administrators in February, and they told us that they had tried to start a program at the same time that they started their Spanish and French program, but they couldn't find the teachers necessary. Here's the difference. When you have a charter school, all of your teachers don't have to have the same certification. That's the big difference. If you have a charter school, then it's different than when you teach in the regular public school. When you teach in the regular public school, you have to have certification for everything, right? But when you have a charter school, that's why charter schools it's part of the reason why they have them, is to allow a school with this special focus to be able to make that special focus and to relax some of the criteria so you can make it happen. Because it's very hard. There are other immersion schools that are charter schools. There's one in Roswell. It's a charter school. It teaches Spanish, French, German, and Mandarin. There's a charter school in Decatur. It's called Globe Academy, and it teaches Spanish, French, and Mandarin. But their teachers, all of their other language teachers, not the English, but the other languages, they don't have to be certified in that way. They really concentrate. They want a native speaker, somebody whose first language is that language that they're going to teach. They like to see that they have some teaching experience, maybe some education background, but they don't necessarily have to have the American certification. So that's why we believe that the charter school is the best way to go. We did think about, and we've talked in my own family a lot about, wow, this is a lot of work, and we never thought we would start opening a school. I'm an attorney. It's not my area, right? But to do it in the public schools, to have those certifications for all the teachers, it's very hard. It's very hard to find those types of teachers who are a native speaker and have an education background and have certification, But that's why we looked at a charter school, because we knew that our teachers, they can be great teachers. There are wonderful teachers out there, but they may not have the American certification. But in charter school, that's okay. That's okay. We want to promote it to people who are non-Korean. I think that what we will have is a lot of students perhaps that, like my child is not full Korean. My child is, I'm Korean, I'm full Korean, so he's half Korean and he's half Caucasian, you know. So there may be a lot of children like that. There's a Korean immersion school just like what we're trying to do here that's already located in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I've talked with them. The majority of their students are not Korean. The majority of their students are non-Koreans, but they still have Korean immersion just like this. Just like in the other programs in Georgia, let's say, for example, French. They teach French immersion. The majority of those students are not French. They're just American. You know, they don't have parents who are French or grandparents who are French. They just want to learn French. A lot of the same way with Spanish. It's not all Hispanic kids that are in the Spanish programs. It's anybody. It's American children, no matter what their background is. And additionally for Chinese. The Chinese programs, it's not just Chinese kids that are there. I think, frankly, though, that with this school, since this school, we're not doing all these different languages. We're doing one language, and we want to do it really well. And that's why we didn't choose, well, maybe we should add Chinese, maybe we should add Japanese, maybe we should have many different things. We talked about that. We really thought about it for a long time because we thought we could have appeal to a lot of different people.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we wanted to do a really good job. And in order to do that, we felt like if we concentrated on one language that is the biggest Asian population in this area, which is Korean, then we could do a really good job to begin with. After we're established and we feel like maybe another language really wants to try and maybe we can add that on, sure, we could do that. We want to help other, any other nationality that wants to do the same thing. We believe that if people want to learn more than one language, they should be able to do that, you know. So we would be more than happy to help and add in another language if there's enough interest, but we feel pretty certain that there is enough interest in the Korean language in this area already. We're not really concerned that people want to. We know they want to. Yi Huang?
Yes.
So my mother is from Andong City, and that's his area. Our family for a long time has been, knows about his teachings and his school, his academy, Dosan Soan, you know, we know that.
Yes.
And we, as a group of people, when we talked about what we wanted for our school, it aligned so closely with what his teachings were, which wasn't just about science, just about math, just about government, because he was a well-known government leader, but also philosophy and the arts. And so that's why it's philosophy, art, and science. It's trying to create a fully rounded student, you know. Now, our curriculum is going to be the STEAM curriculum, which is STEM, S-T-E-M, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. So we are going to focus on that. But STEAM is a little bit different because it adds the arts. So it's S-T-E-A-M, and it is a little bit more advanced. We know that. It's not just the regular curriculum, but we feel like that's what parents want for their children. You know, parents who want their children to be academically successful, most of the time they want their children to go ahead and have a challenging curriculum from the very beginning. And that's really the best way to do it. If you wait and say, okay, you can really challenge yourself in high school, but when you're in elementary school, middle school, it's okay if you just do the regular curriculum. It's really not, because once you get to high school, it's too hard for you. You haven't been prepared. So if you want for your children to have an academically challenging academic life, career, when they are in high school, when they move on to college, it's best if they start young because it's not hard for them then. They start off with something that's challenging, not just regular. And that's what STEAM is. We do hope that with STEAM, we believe that poetry is art. And Yi Huang was known for a lot of his poetry. And speaking as someone who was a journalist, who was a writer, I believe that writing is an art. I believe all these books and all the music in here, that is art, you know. So it is philosophy. He was a philosopher, he was a poet. But that is, it's so closely related. And also with philosophy, you know, his philosophy was that he believed in the good human nature of people. That people have an innate good nature. And that's what we want to teach our kids. We want to teach that everybody, even people who may get in trouble, innately, they can have a good human nature. Just, you know, we are having a public open meeting this Saturday.
Oh, yes.
And it's at the Korean Church of Atlanta, and it's at 3:30, and it's open for everybody. It does happen. It's good timing because all the Korean language teachers from the Saturday schools, the Korean schools, they have a workshop. So this is after the workshop. So some of those teachers, we hope that they're interested in our school, that we know that maybe they just teach part-time for the Saturday school, but maybe they were a teacher in Korea before. And maybe they wouldn't want to teach at a school like this. You know, we hope that we can get some interest and we find out who's out there, who's interested. So it was good timing, and that's why we wanted to go ahead and do it that way.
Thank you very much.
Okay.